Could you please describe the indentations, abrasions, and cutting marks for each tool in detail? Also, please describe all measurements and features for each tool, and prove or disprove whether they're the suspected tool.
Alright, so tool number 1 is pliers with 2 orange handles. It has teeth in it, striations, and it's a Pittsburgh brand. The teeth were 3 millimeters apart. All teeth in total were 14 millimeters. The tool head width was about 45 millimeters, and there's 5 teeth with striations that could create an abrasion. The abrasion marks in this were about 8 millimeters wide, with about at least like one hand, and then with 2 hands you can get about 12 millimeters wide. While the cutting marks, the width with one hand is about an 8 millimeter wide cut, as you need to put a lot of pressure on it. The result I got was no, because it was just way too wide and you couldn't get enough pressure to create such a straight and detailed or like deep cut that was that clean. And since it's pliers, there's no actual edge to which you can create such a perfect line in it. And since it's 8 millimeters at least, while the Cramsey tool is about 2 millimeters big, so wow. Tool number 2 is a scraper-like tool. It has one handle and it's real flat. It's real flat on one side, and the other end it kind of elevates and creates this like 2-layer kind of thing. And the indentation mark, it left square marks all around, so it was just very square on one side. On the other side, it left an indentation going downwards, and then it left some kind of an angle on it. Abrasion marks, they were very deep on the sides and not as deep on near the middle. So this would leave an abrasion mark about 20 millimeters wide. But if you use the very edge of it, it would leave a very deep 2 millimeter cut, around 2 millimeters, very deep cut that was very clean. You can see it. The cutting marks with one hand were about 2 millimeters on the side and about 20 millimeters on the whiting, and no matter which way you had it. The result was no, because it won't leave such a perfect mark every time. So you would kind of constantly have to switch sides in it. And since it's 20 millimeters and the sides were very deep, it had a very angled kind of cut, and those aren't presumed in the Cramsey marks. Tool 3. It's a tool with one handle. It's a wood handle that spirals all around. This looks like as if you would take a metal rod and just put striations all around it going 360. The striations all around left a really distinctive kind of marking on the indentations. It would leave that, and it would, as about a 5 millimeter diameter on the tip that was kind of smooth, and this would create sort of a rounded kind of indentation. The abrasion marks left on this were very rigid. They weren't sharp at all. The edges on the sides were really rigid, and the edges would create this kind of squiggly line all across both edges. The cutting marks were almost exactly the same. They were about 5 millimeters wide. They were really rigid on the sides. The striations would create this pattern that would like kind of bounce as a cut. My results was no. It's a rounded tool with a rounded tip, about 5 millimeters wide, and it's not close to 2. You can't create, with the circle, you can't create a line of 2 diameters if it's 5. So I said no, because the striations would leave a very distinctive mark, and it wasn't portrayed in the Cramsey marks.